All right, everybody, we are back with the second part of Miss Click's D&D Devotion Director's Commentary, episode 26. Oh, God. We're going to restart this whole thing. That was terrible. Hey everybody, we are back with the second part of our director's commentary for Miss Click's D&D Devotion, episode 26. Let's just see how it goes. Silence is how it goes. Hello everybody and welcome back to Miss Click's D&D Devotion. So, we have our songs ready to go. What is the first song that we are going to be performing?
You go first.
Is it the Elven Family? Is that what it was called?
We are a family of elves.
We are a family of elves.
Kellen's like rolling his eyes so hard. He's like, I hate this song.
Kellen, let's put our heart into it.
Now, well, I was hoping to have this be like a fun moment for Kes and Kellen because of that one line where their mother snapped at them. Now it's become this like, oh god, we gotta perform with their mom scene, which is not what we intended, but actually works out pretty well. So despite that being what I would call a mistake on my part, it's turned out pleasantly because that's how D&D works. You can recover from your mistakes really well like that.
Just for mom, and then we don't have to ever perform again.
Well, I want to perform. I just don't want to perform, you know, the balm of the masses or whatever.
So I want to say that as they're setting up, I like arrive with my humongous easel and like all of my paint and my paintbrushes, and I set it in the background, you know.
Okay.
At least I'm not putting it in front of them because I didn't consider that and felt it would be a little bit too much for
I think our mom would have kicked it.
Yeah, so I'm putting it in the back.
All right.
How do everyone react? Like, because we didn't really talk about that. Like, we did talk about it, our band, but we didn't talk about the mom.
So we're not really going anywhere right here, but that's fine. A lot of D&D is kind of just people not sure what to do or what's happening next. Totally legit, maybe totally normal. Too willing to let you perform your experiment. She hasn't made a word of protest about it in the slightest. I don't know how you want to interpret that. Maybe she's warming up to you, or maybe she expects you to fail. Or
yeah.
What?
Well, I'm not reading too much into it, but I'm just assuming she still doesn't like me. I'm not seeing this as a good grace act. I'm just like, I'll just do my thing. She does hers. It's alright. Just casually
make our way back in. Take a seat at the bar.
So what Olivia over here was talking about is the whole like, you know, my mother-in-law doesn't like me thing. But aside from one or two snippy comments, it's mostly been in Olivia's head. Like, she's been the one playing up the my mother-in-law doesn't like me angle, which I really appreciate and like. I didn't start off liking it. I started off being like, I don't know how to roleplay this, so I'm going to focus on other things. But as it's gone forward, it's become Olivia's like, your mom doesn't like me, your mom doesn't like me, your mom doesn't like me. And the mom's like, I don't really care, right? So this has kind of turned into some weird, toxic Olivia thingy. Ooh, let's back up because we don't want to miss the good stuff. And that's really cool. I really have been enjoying Olivia's own toxic mom interaction thing. How does We Are a Family of Elves go? All right, so here we are. We're launching the song that Kes named, We Are a Family of Elves, and Kellen wrote lyrics for.
Kellen's like, and then he takes his lute and he strums like an opening chord, like, blah. I forget, hold on. We are a family of elves, leave your worries on the shelves, 'cause tonight we came to play and chase the gloom away. So give your ale a chug and a pretty elf a hug as we sing for one more round. We are a family of elves, a family of elves, a magical parade, a pointy-eared brigade. We are a family of elves, a family of elves, so sing for one more round.
I am super impressed with Anna's ability to bust out that song on the spot. That was super well done. Wow. And then Kellen's like, oh, I don't even give a shit reaction's priceless. It's perfect. 1 to 5, how good you think that is?
Not that long. I just put one little phrase.
And then as part of our mechanic here, we have chat vote on how good the song is, rather than having them make a charisma check, which is, I think, a perfect replacement for a charisma check, other than the fact that at this point in time, Kellen's musical skills are being supplanted by Anna's musical skills. So even if Kellen had like an 18 in music, he could still have bombed, or even if he had a 1 in music, he could have done amazingly, just because of, you know, it's not actually Kellen, it's now Anna, which is fine. I don't mind breaking the characters like that for roleplay and having the players replace the characters when it's like roleplay fun stuff and it's not like super critical to problem solving or the plot, right? It's not a situation where if Anna brings in her knowledge, it's gonna break the game and is gonna destroy immersion. It's not like Anna saying, oh, by the way, we can get through this door if we mix this and this and this, because these two things create an acid, and then we can pour it on this thing, and then as it dissolves here, we can toss this and neutralize the acid. Like, she's not bringing in knowledge that she's bringing in knowledge that her character shouldn't have, but it's not doing it in like a problem-solving way, so it's fine. It's totally cool. For a little bit longer. Kess, how do you feel about We Are a Family of Elves?
I was singing it, but then I noticed that...
And this is where Olivia's finishing up her live drawing, which is cool.
Hurts for him, so I'm like more concerned. Like I'm kind of distracted and like looking at him and wanting to like go over and hug him, but at the same time I'm just like, gotta hold out, gotta hold my ground.
Aww. Okay.
It's really shitty.
No, it's beautiful, Jen.
I can't wait to see it.
Family of elves, guys. And I've put like the shadow of your fallen father in the foreground.
Oh wow, that's dark. Are you showing us, Neal? Because I don't see it.
I'm trying to put it on stream. It's gonna. Okay. We're just gonna skip ahead a little bit. There's just kind of waiting for this, the live drawing that she does. There's like.
It's like abstract. I see the feeling in it.
Yeah, I'm going for abstract. You know, live art, I feel like you really need to go with the pacing of the song, so it's lasting as long as the song.
So tell me here, Jen.
And like,
clearly,
as soon as... Yeah?
Clearly, we have 3 elves. Who's this?
And a shadow.
4th shadow off to the side.
It's the dead dad. She already said that.
Dad.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess I
put all the elves together.
I wasn't sure if that was like...
It could have been me.
Yeah, if that was you. This is a great moment to just like, you know, see what Olivia's brought to the table. There's not really much here from a director's point of view. Questioning her about what she thinks about it, why she puts the dead dad in here, bringing up the possibility of, is it you? It could have been you. Like, there's a lot to talk about here, but none of it is too critical. So we're going to skip ahead a little bit.
Usually you throw it away afterwards. It's like practice painting.
So that's just her explaining her techniques and the meaning of her things, which is fine and great and really well done.
Or that was like a higher song, and then we kind of come down and like lower like the mood and everything, and it's just like a very acoustic song for this one. And I just play my ocarina for a few minutes. I'm like,
I like how she says play my ocarina for a few minutes, but then like only blows a single note. It's good. And by good I mean, I don't know, but it's something. It's amusing.
I'm like, I love you, do-do-do. When your heart hurts, I am blue. Make you feel like a cow going moo, moo, moo. I'm gonna fly you to the moon. And I keep going acoustically for the whole time. And then I with some ocarina.
It's a really nice song. It's a little bit shorter than the other one, but that doesn't matter. You know, the point is that the players are being creative and coming up with things here. It doesn't matter that Kellen's song was like 8 different lines, and Kess's was only 4, or whatever the number was. You know, that's not the important thing here. The important thing is that the characters and the players are being creative and getting into what they're doing. So that's awesome. Play a few more notes on your ocarina.
Okay.
It's inspiring me.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's dark.
Dark? So Olivia's finishing up her thingy.
Would have been better off with the piano. I'm like, I'm resting to agree to, but piano would have been fine.
All right. So here is the straw poll coming in chat right now for "I Love You, Do Do Do."
What is the answers to the poll? Like good or bad?
Oh, so the first one was. Let's just skip ahead straight to the artwork.
Part of music. I perk up a bit when I hear it.
Rhonda's still over there going, "Yes, I too feel like steak with a knife in me." So I think we actually missed something here. After the first song, "We Are a Family of Elves," there was a critical ransom moment that I think is somewhere. We're gonna scroll back until we find it because it's actually kind of important.
My heart just kind of like hurts for him.
Send you my live art, Neal.
Oh, you have live art.
Yes, I'm doing it for real.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome! I didn't know
It's
that.
really ugly. I'm doing it with MS Paint and a mouse.
Oh my god, we're looking for ransom here.
And my heart just kind of like hurts for him.
He has
Scroll
his
back
guitar
farther.
or his lute, and like everyone's clapping and the crowd's going wild. And he's just like,
We're
he has
waiting for
that
this
look of the
ransom
artist
scene.
that's been playing the same song for like 20.
Well, apparently,
Send you my live.
God.
Crying, and my heart just kind of like hurts for him. So I'm like,
Where is this
Like,
ransom
where
scene? Wow. All right, I put a straw poll in.
long? I'm so free.
The
It's like has,
I can't find Ransom's interactions.
and then he takes his lute and he strums down. Wait,
We'll just see how he has a moment where he's crying on Rhonda's shoulder about wanting to be part of that family of elves, and I can't find it. Know what to do. Oh wait, there it is. You guys from the stage can see. Here it is. It's right here. And some like hooting and hollering and cheering. It seems to be a huge hit with the crowd.
well, it's like has that look of just
I
being.
wanted to be part of that family. I kind of turn to Rhonda and start weeping.
Aw.
Here we go. I wanted to be part of that family. So we can see that Ransom during this musical scene, even though, as he said in the last part of this episode, even though he like doesn't get the music, he wants to be a part of that family of elves, right? So we can see here that Ransom really wants to make things work with Kes, but he's just is incapable of doing it. And this right here is critical because it shows Kes, even though technically Kes can't hear her, V can, but it still shows V and thus Kes, you know how it goes. That there's hope here that they can work this out, and it gives us some ammunition to play with. It lets us know as a DM that Ransom does want to make this work. He wants to be a part of that family of elves. That idea of family is important to him, so we can try and take what he's showing us here and use it down the line a little ways to, I don't know, but we can use this down the line. So we like stow this little bit of information. I want to be a part of that family of elves, which is great. The other aspect of this is he's crying on Rhonda's shoulder, which is what we're trying to set up that ransom Rhonda thing, right? And this is great for that. Now, where the hell were we? With the second live art. Here we go.
Makes me sad.
How do you scroll back just a bit?
So romantic.
Sending you the live.
What's so romantic? Hold on. So I love you, do do do, is
Like
being.
the cows goes moo moo moo.
What was the last line again?
I love you, do 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 was the last. Oh yeah.
Fly you to the moon. Oh,
So
yeah.
romantic.
Sending you the live art too. I went a completely different style.
Ooh.
It's a
You're
song our
inspired.
mom. It's a song our dad sang to our mom.
Oh, that's what's so romantic.
That makes me sad.
How do you guys? Interesting that Kes is bringing up the song her dad sung to her mom right now while her mom is sleeping with this other guy. This is a perfect opportunity to play into that and to mention something about how their mother feels about it because she's right there, or maybe use that as a tool to examine the Collie-Liam relationship a little bit more. Unfortunately, like so many things in this episode, we go wrong and we completely skip it and we don't make a note of it. But we're going to remember it and bring it back next week or sometime in the near future We can maybe have Kalia humming that melody to herself. We can maybe have, if we want to be divisive, we can have Liam show up singing that song. You know, there's things we can do with that. So we remember this little note for later. How do you guys feel about this song? Well, first off, let's go back to Ransom. Ransom, how do you feel about I Love You, Do Do Do?
I'm also looking at him as I'm playing.
Oh, broken heart.
There's hope for them.
You know, Rhonda, I feel more like steak right now.
You like
I've had a
steak?
knife stabbed through my cow meat.
And
Oh, Ransom's hurting.
tune in the song, but I only normally play for Ransom because he notices it.
So we can see Kess and Ransom are trying to fix their problems. That was just for you. Or might that just go right over your head? There's hope.
I would notice I'm pretty good at the lyrical part. I mean, the musical, the acoustic part of music.
There's
I perk
hope.
up a bit when I
They
hear
still love each other. They're showing it. Maybe they're gonna stick together. I too feel like steak with a knife in me. Playing off Rhonda as awkward here for a reason. We have been trying to build up this Ransom Rhonda thing so that we can use Rhonda to subvert their relationship. Unfortunately, their relationship between Kess and Ransom is so terrible that we're having to put Rhonda's subversion of their relationship on hold, right? Like, we set that up to kind of build it so that it can be subverted later, but right now the relationship is already so bad that our plans to subvert their relationship need to be put on long-term hold. And so Rhonda, who, if things were going well between Kess and Ransom right here, would be consoling him and being quite nice to him and quite sweet to him, is now having to act awkward towards him in order to not drive a wedge further between Kess and Ransom. Yeah, this is prime opportunity for her to get in good with Ransom, but I just don't think the characters' relationships can take that yet. So we pull her character back a little bit, and we pull those plans back a little bit by having her just be awkward to Ransom.
Take. I like it.
Yeah, I went more. That's how I was feeling about this song. You know, it was just like lyrics and like ocarina and lyrics, so it felt more simple. So
I like this.
you know, different styles. You can see like a abstract version of a cow and the moon.
Right. Oh, I see it. I see it.
I really
Yeah.
like this.
We need to make sure, Jen, be sure to have these saved so we can
Yeah.
post them after.
Yeah.
Ooh, I need to go post these on the subreddit.
I don't know if we ever showed it. It was the one that we played like while we were on the ship and we were traveling. And it's like representative of like Kellen and I.
Let's just skip
Actually,
forward.
he does, like, tears start streaming down his face. Like, this hits him because he remembers his dad singing this, and he hasn't really dealt with his dad's death, so he just kind of, like, is strumming along on his lute, and just kind of tears are silently falling down his face.
This whole mechanic of having them come up with songs that their parents used to sing with them, or that their parents used to sing that they perform with their parents, turned out to be super effective. We got all sorts of good juiciness out of this, way more than I had originally anticipated. So I'm quite pleased with how this interaction played out.
As he plays.
Here is our Sea Journey picture up on stream right now.
Sea Journey?
Yeah, it's the one that she did. Did you do this while Guy was singing his, doing his spoken word bit?
Yeah, I think so actually.
I love that.
It's pretty.
Oh,
Kellen tears are rolling down his face, but he sees Olivia painting while the ocarina solo is happening. And it's so beautiful that the tears of pain kind of turn to tears of joy. And he's so impressed by her. Like, this.
Now, this is slightly problematic. This is a moment where Kellen and Olivia are really starting to bond on less than a superficial level, which is great. You know, Kess and Ransom, hold on, let's set the stage. Olivia and Kellen used to be superficially working well together, but, you know, deeper, they don't really have anything they've got going. And Kess and Ransom were kind of superficially boring, but had a deep connection. And we've seen Kess and Ransom like rise up, we're gonna get married, and they're starting to fall apart now. But this is a moment where Kelly and Olivia, who used to be kind of falling apart, are now rising up. So we got our two different relationships, and they're kind of switching places. Kellen and Olivia are getting deeper because now Kellen appreciates Olivia as an artist, whereas Kess and Ransom are breaking apart, which is wonderful for so many reasons and such a great story, flow. But I'm a little unhappy about this because I want to stir up drama between Olivia and Kellen with Guy, and the only way Guy can stir up drama between them is because Kellen and Guy can relate on a level that Olivia and Kellen don't relate. Now that Kellen and Olivia are relating through their art, Kellen and Guy aren't going to have that special bond anymore. They might still have the ability to play music, but Olivia's clearly undermining Guy's position in the group. That's an interesting dynamic. I still haven't figured out, because this is being recorded after episode 26, but we haven't done episode 27 yet. I still haven't figured out how Guy fits into this group anymore. He's kind of getting pushed out and sidelined, and I would really like to see the Kellen Guy, secret romance come to a head. And I'd like to see some big dramatic crescendo to that, but I feel like Olivia is undermining the ability to have that big crescendo. So we still want to see that storyline play out, and we still want to have it come to its big conclusion, but now we're going to have to be a little bit more creative.
This is a defining moment for Kellen because he hasn't seen her as an artist before. And he's just seen her as she's beautiful, she's vibrant, she's helpful, she's the leader of their whole business. But this is the first time he looks at her and he sees an artist, and to him that's a whole new world opening.
That's really sweet.
It's important.
Make me cry.
And I think as Olivia, as she's doing it, she's super insecure and feeling vulnerable, which is super rare for her.
So we get these emotions we don't normally get out of these characters. We go back to the low-key music rather than the upper key. I don't think high key is a term. The Wild West Saloon music here. I don't remember my reasons for doing that, but it's worth noting that it's normally Wild West Saloon, and here it is the Slaughtered Ox.
So she's putting on a brave face and
The choice to go Slaughtered Ox over Wild West is semi, it does help set the scene. Maybe we're going, I don't remember why we're going with it, so I'm kind of retroactively applying reasoning, which might not be accurate, but let's just roll with it for a moment. We've had this nice touching scene with all these characters, and if we go back to a jovial, festive mood, it's kind of, it might break them out of their touchy-feely, getting in, we're exploring new territory in our relationship, whereas the Slaughtered Ox is a little bit more passive. It allows them to have kind of deeper emotional interactions on a softer level rather than on the high-strung, I'm getting drunk and, crying about this person in front of everybody scene.
No, she's probably exaggerating her movements to make it seem like she's really confident in what she's doing.
Oh, I relate to her. Oh, guys, we're discussing the human experience through role-playing.
Pretending to be really confident.
So as I said before, I feel like this episode, I dropped the ball on significantly. I screwed up a lot of the narrative elements. The few things we did well were this whole musical experience here, but the players really pulled us through. The players are so good that even when the DM screws up, the show continues and does well. I think I did. Hold on, here we go.
I'm not crying. My desk is really dusty and I have allergies, just so you know.
Right. I Love You Do is also overwhelmingly fantastic. Where you learn to play music like this, huh? Where does this music come from?
We've always known it. It's been in our family forever.
I don't remember who this character is, so let's roll back a little bit. Everyone kind of tears up and dries off their face, and you get people coming up to you afterwards being like, you guys were so fantastic. Except so it's just some random NPC that they're talking to. You guys are so fantastic. Where you learn to play music like this, huh? Where does this music come from?
We've always known it.
The accent's a little bad, but we have to try and keep our accents up. They're in a foreign land. We've established many times that they speak differently here. I often drop the ball on them speaking differently because I'm embarrassed about my accents and my voices, but we're trying. You Westerners, you have, referring to them as Westerners, important detail, but you have this encompassment of something we lack here. You have sorrow in happiness. What is word for happy, sad, same?
Yeah, happy, sad, same. That's what we say too. Yeah.
Most talented. Well done, young man. Well done.
Thanks, I appreciate it. Always nice to meet a fan. Shake his hand.
You sound like you know what this experience is like.
Did you watch the TwitchCon roast of DJ Weaver?
Skipping ahead.
If nobody comes up to me, I kind of like
You get the same fans coming up to you as Kellen did.
Then I do the same.
So at this point in time, there's not really much going on. We're kind of just letting the players take over, which is what we needed to do way earlier in the episode. We needed to let the players have more control during the dream sequence and during the other things. And we can see as I slowly fall back into the D&D pattern and I'm not just getting off a bus, the show gets better as it drags on. It's really the beginning part that was botched so badly, I think.
At this point, I've just I've moved from all out bawling to like just kind of soft crying, still leaning my head into like Rhonda's shoulder and being like, woohoo.
Okay, so if that's the case, when you look over towards Ransom, you see Rhonda kind of giving you the like, get over here. See, we're trying to repair their relationship here.
I walk over and I like stand behind Ransom and I'm like, hey.
Oh, hey.
Now, let's have a quick discussion about music right here. We're still playing the Slaughtered Ox, but they're clearly about to have a super important conversation. Without knowing what's going to happen, we can kind of tell they've just had this emotional experience. They're talking, they're going, hey. This is an important moment in their relationship, as much as we have in D&D. So there are a lot of really dramatic music tracks we could have played here. We could have put on quite a few different things and kind of lowered the bar music, or we could leave the bar music kind of louder at full volume with the other stuff gone. And the decision on which soundtrack to play in this part is difficult because maybe this doesn't turn into something big and dramatic, or maybe it becomes like close and lovey-dovey, or maybe it becomes heated. We don't really know how it's going to play out yet, so we can't quite pick the right music. That said, if we pick something, it might help drive the conversation in that direction.
Yes.
So the musical choice right now could make a big difference in the story. Could help influence the story, or just make it more dramatic. But I'm just not sure where they're going. So I think we just leave it with the Slaughtered Ox.
Over here.
No, but good performance.
Did you hear what I played?
Yeah, you played that little thing that I, loved hearing from you. Thank you for that.
Of course.
Kess seems so nervous.
I'm not over, Ransom.
Which is really nice. I like that extra layer of role playing. She actually sounds nervous talking to him.
So we'll be stronger and better than ever.
I would love to believe that.
Well, I hope you do. Because I still love you.
Here we go. They're repairing their relationship. They're making things work. We should be on the 4-player cam, the 5-player cam screen, not on this big, we don't need to see this image right now. This image, I love you, do, sort of has a play into here, but I think we would be better served by seeing their faces in bigger.
I'll have to see about slaying a dragon or something for you sometime.
You don't need to slay a dragon. You just need to be there for me. I've been through a lot.
Both of them are showing that they want to help the other person, that they want to come back together. This is great. They're on the way to repairing their relationship, and then we can have Rhonda destroy it again.
And I need to know that you're here.
I kind of like just reach over. I'm right here. And I have been the whole time.
I mean, I need you to be here emotionally for me. I know that's not something you're strong at, but...
She's making concessions. He's trying to understand. It's going so well.
You mean how I was suffering emotionally for the last month?
Ooh, no! Rhonda
Well-
gives an awkward cough. She's like still slightly holding on to Ransom. See, we're trying to fix their problems for them, which probably doesn't work. You can't fix other people's relationships for them. That's a lesson we should all have learned by now. Ransom clearly says something that's about to, ruin the progress that they've made. So we have Rhonda come and interject to to help maybe try and diffuse the situation, or give Ransom an opportunity to speak up and fix something. We signal to him that he's breaking things, but maybe we should have just been quiet too. I don't know. I don't know. At this point, it's too difficult to tell what the NPCs should be doing. I think maybe I should get some drinks for us.
Go ahead, Rhonda, and I kind of take his arm off of her.
She excuses herself and gives you guys a moment to chat. Right, we could have already just pretended that Rhonda had left when they started talking. It would have been very feasible to say that Rhonda walked away at some point in there without actually saying it to the players. But we're, we're giving Rhonda an opportunity to speak up and leave right now in order to diffuse the situation. While you guys are chatting, I would like everybody in. And look how we just cut away from the scene altogether because we don't want their relationship to fall apart. But as we learn, you can't fix people's relationships for them. The party to make me a perception check.
Okay.
We try so hard to fix Ransom and Kess. Rid of the live art. We try and do it subtly in the background so that they'll stay together. 22, and it just doesn't work. 25 and 20. So it looks like, oh, this is beautiful. Kellen and Olivia, while Cass and Ransom are having their moment on the side, you see kind of slowly working through the crowd, headed for the door, trying to remain unseen, a kind of furtive Guy Claypool taking an exit from the bar.
Oh,
Of course,
hey.
Neal.
Trying not to attract
reaction.
attention to himself, but you notice him slipping out through the front.
Babe, it's Guy. We have to catch up to him and talk to him.
But babe, I just want to talk to you.
Oh no! We wanted Kellen to confront Guy, but instead Kellen's in love with Olivia! Oh no, how are we going to destroy their relationship with Guy if they build it back up together?
And I take her face and I'm like, this is the most beautiful thing you've ever made. And the fact that you painted this while listening to my art is the biggest honor I've ever had. And I just give her a big dip
God,
kiss.
it's so sweet. It's exactly what we want from their relationship, but not when we're trying to undermine it. Ugh. God, the players are too in love.
For the kiss.
So touching. Oh, tearing up a little bit.
And then I'm like, do you really want him to leave like this? Isn't it a bad ending to a long relationship between the three of us? Between the three of us, I say that.
Jen, again, hinting that she wants that that love triangle to continue.
You wouldn't want me to talk to him.
Well, he's been a sneaky bastard, but I feel bad leaving on such bad terms with him. I think we should make do.
Well, I mean, if you don't think it's weird that he apparently has feelings for me.
I definitely think he has feelings for you, And I feel that I remember that he used to seem to have feelings for me, but maybe that was a lie. I'm not sure anymore.
He just kind of thought she was a hottie once upon a time.
You know, your parents' whole open relationship thing, it's like kind of weird, but we never talked about it. And like if guys like really into like both of us or one of us, like I don't know, your mom talked about me dying and you moving on and like elves and long lives. I don't know what to think anymore.
Or is Jen saying that she wants to get with Guy because he's a human and can relate to her? Ooh, I hadn't considered that possibility, but that right there, let's listen to it again.
Mom talked about me dying and you moving on and like elves and long lives.
Interesting. Maybe there's another artist that has captured Olivia's attention.
I don't know what to think anymore.
Maybe we can try and play up some sort of like, maybe we can try and get Olivia to fall in love with Guy while Guy's in love with Kellen and Kellen's in love with Olivia. Actually, Kellen's in love with Guy and Olivia, but like outwardly in love with Olivia and inwardly in love with Guy. Maybe we can get like a flow triangle of love going on here. I don't know. We're gonna have to explore that later. I hadn't picked up on this yet.
Okay, I mean, like, if you're fine with it, like, I just don't want to offend you, but if you think we can still be friends, then yeah, let's go talk to him.
Let's go talk to Guy.
You guys slip through the crowd, find Guy walking down the street, like a half block away already.
Guy!
Freezes in his tracks and turns back to look at you.
Hey.
We fade out the town music because they're outside of the. We fade out the bar music because they're outside of the bar.
And then I'm like acting super weird. I'm like, I come in peace.
Like all awkward, like overly, like.
Yeah, like theatrical, like.
Kellen's just like, he's kind of like.
And we're also fading in medieval town right about now.
Okay.
Hi guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I was just like enjoying the best performing arts in Akuba a moment ago. That's Guy hitting on Kellen.
Who are you watching?
You know, I was just like watching the stage and like Guy hits on Kellen. Kellen encourages Guy to hit on her more. Guy gets awkward and tries to not hit on her. You know, seeing the dancing that your mom was doing was like, I'd never seen ancestral elven dancing before. And like, it was pretty cool. And Olivia, you're like painting. I didn't think I could ever connect with you as an artist before. That was like, whoa, Kellen is not feeling this Guy connecting with Olivia thing. When did you learn how to do that, man?
Well, I've been like thinking about how I can like complement the group for so long, and you know, I dabbled a bit in dancing and I tried playing instruments, but it's really not my thing. I think I'm more of a physically expressive person, so I thought that live painting would be my thing, and I think
As she says that.
So originally the plan was to have Guy compliment or talk about watching everybody except for Kellen. That was the idea. Kellen's like, oh, like who were you watching? And he's like, the stage and your mom and Olivia and Cass, and like say everyone except for Kellen, which is really saying I was watching you, Kellen. By, you know, that's the one thing that it's the one that stands out, right? But I think we get a little sidetracked by here, which kind of ruins the point of Guy mentioning the others. It would have been great if we had gone from Kalia to Kess and then talk about Olivia and her cool thing, because then we would have hit everyone except for Kellen, which then Kellen can read in between the lines being like, oh, you're really watching me, maybe, because I'm the only one you didn't talk about.
That I like put my arm around her waist and like, yeah, babe, like I'm like ownership, you know?
Yeah, like I think you really compliment Kellen's music.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's really sweet of you, considering I punched you yesterday. And then I, like, you know, give him a little, like...
Hey, man, we all gotta, like, get out our internal demons whatever way it comes. Like, you know, violence is, like, not my way, but if that's how you needed to express yourself, I'm almost glad I could be there to help you with it.
Wow, man, that's actually like really, like that's really big of you. Like that's kind of like
more Kellen flirting with Guy. I'm not actually that glad because like it hurt and like I got like bruises and like my elbow's all messed up. But
Oh, maybe I can help.
Ooh, this is interesting. Hold on.
Poison to like improve his wounds.
Okay, you heal up his wounds a little
as
bit.
I do it, I'm like, you know, like massaging his arm. It's like
He's a little tense the whole
just
time.
a little, yeah.
Kellen does not understand what's going on at all. Kellen's like, what is up with my girlfriend? And he just eventually comes to terms with like, she must feel really bad. She must be trying to make me feel better because she thinks this guy's my best friend and she like drove him away.
So while there's like this healing and massaging going on, Guy looks at Kellen, like makes eye contact with Kellen.
And what does that eye contact communicate?
I don't know, but he's looking at you a little awkward. Gives
Kellen does not break the gaze,
we can see that the Kellen Guy thing is real.
but doesn't say anything either.
I think they just stand in silence looking at each other while Olivia
While
does like
she massages
while she
his
like
arm.
massages his arm and heals him up for like a minute or two. And this right here is the perfect image of this relationship going on right here. It's Kellen and Olivia being together, but behind Olivia's back, because Olivia's like helping fix Guy, so she's looking this way, but behind her back, Guy and Kellen are clearly having some sort of exchange that is unspoken. And this is the like a perfect snapshot that like explains their entire relationship all in one brief moment. Yeah. And there's this. And then the healing's over and he kind of takes a step back and ow, I like feel so much better. Thanks, Olivia. You have like a healer's touch. So, what are you guys up? So awkward.
Do you want to go get a drink? I think we should chat about what happened to really put it past us.
I mean, you hit me and it's kind of cool, right? Like, is there anything? Guy doesn't want to talk with Olivia. He wants to talk with Kellen. So he's trying to avoid this conversation by being like, we don't really need to talk. Anything else to say?
I think you and I should have a chat, like a private.
If I had picked up on the Olivia Guy love angle, I would have definitely rolled with this, but I didn't catch that until just now.
Chat. I won't hurt you, don't worry.
I mean, if Kellen's okay with that.
I mean, you guys are your own people. Like, I mean, like, not like I'm gonna freak out about anything that you would say in front of me, but I mean, I respect your privacy, I guess.
Cool. Okay, Olivia. Well, there's like a little watering hole down the way. Like, you want to go chat?
Sure, let's do that. And then I'm like, I'll be right back, babe. And I make out with Kellen and then I leave. I give him like a smoldering making out session. That's kind of like, you know what's going to happen when I come back. Wink, wink.
Kellen was considering following them, but as soon as that happens, he kind of is like, okay. Yeah, see you later.
All right, so we're going to skip ahead a little bit.
I'm just sitting there waiting for him to say something.
So this is back with Kess and Ransom. We've pretty much drowned out the music.
Well, it sounds like there's a lot of silence then.
Okay.
At
So
the
do you
end.
understand?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You said something.
This is so much like a real relationship. Sometimes I have a hard time believing that V and Trump aren't dating.
I wait for you to say whatever you're gonna say.
I wasn't.
This is how it goes for like 10 minutes. No, you go.
I don't think there's a single word, but like maybe after a minute, like Ransom looks like he's about to say something, just about at the same time Kess is, and then he brings himself back. It seems like Kess is doing the same too.
I really appreciate how Trump is coming into his own with his role playing. The last few episodes, he's really been coming into Ransom and like digging into it, and it's been great. Now, we left this scene with Kess and Ransom before because Ransom was starting to put his foot in his mouth, and we didn't want him to do it and break up the relationship. So now we've come back, and now they're just being awkward around each other, which is great. That's back, like, you know, yeah, it's great. It's great.
So I guess another minute passes by. Oh, we just kind of stare at each other.
So, were you going to say something?
Well, I just can't help but think about when we first got together, and that was kind of an adventure by itself. Maybe we should head out and do more of these adventure type things.
Perfect.
Sure. Together, right? Not...
Let's go on an adventure is like the same thing as like let's go on a date, basically. In D&D terms, let's go on an adventure is let's go on a date. Ransom and Kess are fixing their relationship
Me sitting on a
problems.
boat by myself, mourning my dad alone.
And then V ruins it. Let's scroll back and hear that interaction one more time.
More of these adventure type things.
Sure. Together, right? Not me sitting on a boat by myself, mourning my dad alone.
Oh my god, they had just fixed it. They had just been like, let's go on a date. And then V drags up the past, drags up their last set of arguments, drags everything back up with that little, oh, not me being all alone again, right? She couldn't let it go. She had to say something, and watch how it destroys everything that they have. All the progress that they made gets completely wrecked by that one comment. That's the sort of stuff that we were cutting away to avoid, is this exact fallout. Look at that face. I know what's happened already.
Do you understand that?
At any moment, if you preferred company, because I assume you did.
But I said so on the boat.
Oh god, it's the same argument from last episode.
It wasn't to me.
This close to patching it up. They were this close.
If you didn't, it wasn't to me. I would have remembered.
Like I said, Ransom.
I can't read your mind, Kess.
Oh god, it was so close.
Girlfriend, aren't you going to spend time with her? You spent the entire time on a boat while I mourned something horrible.
Really, mourning is meant to be done alone. Apparently not, from what I've learned.
Did you see Kellen?
Oh god, it doesn't even matter what they're saying. They're beyond reason at this point. They'll argue over anything right now.
Kellen preferred to be mourning with someone.
And did you even bother to ask me?
I think we know how this plays out.
It's one of those by default.
I think we know how this plays out is me trying to stop the argument again. And I think we were learning our lesson here that you can't patch other people's relationships up. You can't make Ransom and Kess like each other. You can't interrupt and hope that it solves the problems. But that's me right there trying to break up the argument and move on from it by saying, I think we know how this plays out, and hoping someone else around the table goes, oh yeah, we've seen this before, and then moving on. But it doesn't work.
To wanting to be mourned alone. And then, you know, when they're ready to talk, they go. At least that's how I saw things from growing up in my village.
Well, that's not the way I am. You should know that.
Now that line, that's not the way I saw things growing up in my village, might be useful to help illustrate that human-elven divide if we had more of our elven culture established, but we don't. So it's not going to be that useful, but that might be a stepping stone at some point. Maybe we can play off of that down the line. Probably not, though.
You know what might be good for a quick thing we can do together, at least?
What?
I don't know if this tavern will let us make use of their utensils and whatnot, but you could cook me something.
And remember that one really, really terrible idea that Liam gave to Ransom? That one joke idea that was so bad it was funny?
What? Cook you something? I get up.
Right.
Clearly, our attempts to help fix their relationship have only caused more problems. If we had stayed out of it from the beginning, maybe it would have been better.
Cook you something.
That's not just a metaphor for D&D mechanics. That's a real life problems, guys. Just stay out of other people's relationship problems.
I tell you, I don't feel like you were there for me. And you think I'm going to cook you something? Why don't you get your ass in the kitchen? And I storm off.
Wow.
Tell him.
All right. Kess, you're storming out of there. Ransom, just what is going on, right?
I look completely flabbergasted.
Right. Oh God, you had the advice to ask her to cook you something from your father, and you know he's a wise man. He knows what he's up about.
Cook you something.
So, Kess, as you're, I just can't. I feel like just stopping the commentary and walking away right now. It's so frustrating. Storming out, you pass these 8 people. All right, now this is back to what we were doing at the very beginning. The dream sequence started in hour 1. This is only a 2-hour episode, and here we are in the second half of hour 2, and we're finally reaching back to the incident that the dream was supposed to be prophetic about, right? But since we screwed up the dream sequence so badly, I doubt Kess remembers much of the dream sequence. And since we forgot to say something about the octopus arm, she's not going to pick up on the 8 people are here looking for Liam. This is where our errors at the beginning of the episode really show. In some kind of vague uniform. It's like a similar style of dress. And the only these bounty hunters could have been better described too. The reason I'm pointing this out to you is because you notice their accent is Mistrayan. I like this moment right here where I mention their accent as Mistrayan because that helps establish the difference of society. You know, they're in a Kuba. It's a completely different society. You can pick someone out by their accent. You can, you know, the people here have their own weird, slightly Russian, slightly French accents, which helps just, I mean, this is a story about people with differences. And so we're trying to highlight these differences. So I really appreciate, I shouldn't say appreciate since I'm the one doing it. I really like how I bring up their accent in this spot. I think that was a strong moment. Uniform. It's like a similar style of dress. And the only reason I'm pointing this out to you is because you notice their accent is Mistrayan, the area back where Calbell is, back where most of your adventures have been in Mistrea. You guys are out here in Akuba. You hear them speaking in common with a Mistrayan accent, and it kind of catches your attention. All right, we rambled a little bit there, but that's kind of what I do. I don't know how to talk. I don't know how to socialize, so I just ramble for a minute. And the leader of these 8 people is a woman, and she's speaking to the bartender, and she says, "Have you heard of a gentleman named Liam being here? He's a wanted criminal in Mistrea, and we are here for the bounty on his head. Have you seen him anywhere?" And she starts to describe Liam. Now, if we had properly played out that dream sequence and emphasized the octopus and emphasized, you know, the octopus is killing Liam, someone observant enough might have been able to go, 8 people here. Very much like the octopus that killed Liam. I know it's a bit of a stretch, but 8 legs, octopus, Liam, maybe that whole idea was pretty terrible, but you're definitely not going to get the, like, they're going to kill Liam from the dream, even though that's what we're trying to set up here. We're trying to set up that she has this dream about Liam dying, and then later that day, people show up and try and kill Liam. That was the goal, but we botched the dream sequence so badly that there's no way she's going to pick up on that from you know, through this.
Is Liam in the building right now?
Yes, he is.
I immediately run over, like I discreetly run to him, like walk over to them.
He's right next to Ransom. They're talking post-fight.
You need to get out of here right now.
Dad, your advice is no good. I don't understand.
I love how Ransom keeps going as if he were already talking to Liam. Trump has really come into his own as a role player. Hi, daughter-in-law.
You need to get out of here. They're looking for you. I don't know what you did, but you might want to run now.
Randy, what have you done?
What have I done?
They're looking for you, Randy. What have you done?
Yeah, you.
Me?
Oh.
He immediately ducks low. Who's looking for me?
I don't know. Somebody from Estrella. What did you do?
Shit. All right, I'm going out the back. I'll meet you at the Splash. I'll meet you at the Splash in like an hour. And he ducks and heads out the back door. So she gets that he's in trouble, but she doesn't get that these people are going to kill him. And that's our fault. That's my fault as a DM for not giving her the tools to see what I was trying to get her to see. That's all my fault.
Lovely family. And I turn and walk off.
What do you do, Ransom?
And I look for my mom.
Which way do you go? Do you follow your dad or do you follow Kess? You make your own trail.
Let's see. I think, I'll just sit here.
I immediately tell my mom, and then I go tell Kellen and them.
All right. You don't know where Kellen and the others have gotten off to. They've just kind of disappeared. But you tell your mom, and she agrees that she'll meet you at the Splash in an hour. Right? We don't need to play out that interaction with her mom. Her mom can just show up later. We're trying to emphasize speed at this point. We're trying to emphasize that there's, danger alert, so we don't want to have long, drawn-out interactions when it's like, oh my god, the guards are coming, everyone run, we'll meet up over here, right? We just skip it. Skip it all, move on. Keep that pacing a little bit higher. In fact, this would be a good time to play Dark City, or weave Dark City into the Slaughter Docks. So speaking of Kellen and Olivia, you follow Guy. Changing the scene also works really well, though. Down to this bar, this other little watering hole, and it's not like the nice, classy tavern with the stage and everything. This is the dive bar. It's right near the water, but not like the nice part of the water. It's near the dirty part of the water, and you can see some of the shutters are hanging off. The wind is blowing through the building a little bit, and it's pretty silent in here. There's, some grumbling and some things moving around, but there's not a lot going on. We use the Mountain Tavern track here. The two of you come in, and Guy brings you over to a table. So, what do you want to talk about? And at this point, I have no objectives. I don't know what's going on with this scene. I don't know what they want to talk about, so we're just gonna...
Really intense, but, put yourselves in my shoes.
We're just gonna see where this goes.
How would you feel? I've always thought that you had a crush on me, and somehow it turns out to be my boyfriend. So then, of course, my first conclusion was that you've been
first
using...
off, what makes you think I'm into Kellen?
Well, you can't hide things from a cleric, There's things we perceive that just... I didn't mean to...
Strong job on Olivia, not saying I used the mind read spell, but you can't hide things from a cleric. Well done.
Kind of wanders and gets more information than I was looking for.
You had some sort of telepathic link or something? And I think this is when Kellen pops up or can whisper in, comes around a corner.
Well, I could for just a moment hear your thoughts, and I instantly knew it was...
Alright, let's scroll back just a moment here.
For just a moment hear your thoughts, and I instantly knew it was about Kellen. So like, I didn't need a lot of context to put it all together.
Right.
So I figured and just using me, so that's why I felt so betrayed.
Hold on.
Well, you can't hide things from a cleric, you know? There's things we
I want to point out
perceive
something
that just-
specific. That's why we're rolling back in
I
time.
didn't mean to intrude, but you know, sometimes I cast a spell, it's meant for another person, and then, you know, like, kind
Good
of
job, Olivia.
and get more information than I was looking for.
Like you had some sort of like telepathic link or something. And I think this is when Kellen like pops up or like can whisper in. All right, right there. When I say this is when Kellen pops up, that's me trying to emphasize that Kellen's been following along and also set a point where, you know, Kellen is for sure hearing these things. But what we fail to do is to ask Kellen what he wants to do. The right thing to do right here would have been to say, Kellen, this is about the time that you arrive. You saw them go into this building, and you can like sneak up to the door or sneak up to a window and like peer in. It's dark outside, it's light inside, so you can see them without worry of them seeing you. What do? That's the right thing to do right here. And then let Kellen figure out how far away he is. Does he go in the building? Does he just over here? Like, that would have been the right thing to do rather than just saying, Kellen, you show up right about now, because as we'll see later, there is now a confusion as to where Kellen actually was. Comes around a corner.
Well, I could
It would
like
have been better to ask the player to tell us where they go.
for just a moment hear your thoughts, and I instantly knew it was about Kellen. So like, I didn't need a lot of context to put it all together.
Right.
So I figured you've been like flirting with me while you were just trying to get with my boyfriend and just using me, so that's why I felt so betrayed.
Well, I'm gonna like keep it real here then, as long as we're, you know, being open with one another. Like when we first all met, I thought you were hot shit. Like, to be real, like when we first met, I was like, dude, who is that girl with that elf? Look at her. Oh my god, I hope she's into my music. You know? But then, like, one great Guy's character went through a big change once his band fell apart. If you have watched the whole series, he used to be this, like, super cocky, I'm the greatest musician on earth, until he realized that he actually wasn't very good and he was just being propped up by some other cleric's magic. And then he became super humble. And this is a throwback to his older character when he still thought he was the hottest rock star out there. Once we started hanging out, that just kind of stopped being a thing. That doesn't mean like you're still like, you know, an attractive woman,
like,
but like
I think I kind of shut you down as well at some point.
How do I want to say it? Like, you're still a pretty person and like a cool, like you're an attractive woman and a beautiful person, but you're more of like my friend who's a total hottie and I kind of know it, but like you're my friend first and a total hottie second. So like I don't think of you that way.
But you think of Kellen that way?
I don't know really what I think of Kellen. This is kind of... Now, this whole exchange is a difficult one because for a very long time now, the Kellen-Guy relationship has been really hidden and like under the surface. And now it's starting to come to the surface, and I'm not sure of how quickly to bring it up. Like, does Guy just spill everything he said that he feels? Does he let it leak out bit by bit? Is he trying to hide it from Olivia? Is he... What is going on? How much does Guy even know of this relationship himself? Because up until now, it's kind of just been this, like, this unspoken thing, which was great. And now we're being asked to shed light on it, and I'm kind of not sure what to do. So then Guy acts not sure what to do, because I don't know what to do for him that way. Let's look again.
But you think of Kellen that way?
I don't know really what I think of Helen. This is kind of a new thing for me. See, guys, uncertain. But there's something about the way he talks that, like...
You mean kind of like that? I'm just kidding.
I don't know what you mean at all. But, like, there's something about the way that he talks that, like... Just, like... I feel like something inside of me lights up whenever I hear him talking about music and art. And it just, like, it resonates with me. It's like two halves of a broken rock coming together. I wrote a song about it. Oh, you heard it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It was a nice song. But
Throwback to a song.
I get how you feel. I definitely do. But, you know, him and I are together. And nothing's gonna come in between us.
Like, you heard the song, right? Like, you know that I'm not... Like, the whole crux of that song was about how he's not going to get involved in the relationship of the person that he's in love with that doesn't love him back. Here to get in between. I'm content to just spend the rest of my days as friends talking about music and art.
Well, if that's really how you feel, you're welcome to stay with us.
Did you tell him?
Oh, well...
Guy's afraid.
Figured it out at the moment when I was screaming, I hate you, and punching you, saying that you should get away from Kellen.
Dude. Guy's afraid and not certain what to say to Kellen. He doesn't want Kellen to know.
No, like we talked about it a bit and we said we're okay if you want to keep hanging out with us, you know.
He gets a really pained expression on his face when it's like he's okay with it if you hanging out. He's like, oh.
Well, like we really appreciate you and like, you know, I've always really liked you as well and I know how much Kellen likes you, so I really don't want to end this relationship.
Did we say it again?
Like, I can see you guys have a like really strong bond and friendship together.
Yeah, I'd like to think. Oh God, the scene is so rough. No.
I wouldn't want to come in between you guys. Like,
well, I wouldn't want to get in between you guys. Yeah, I'm not. So we don't really have any objectives with the storytelling right now. We're just kind of letting things unfurl and seeing where they're going. There's no like, I want this to go here, I want this to go there. It'd probably be better if we had some objectives with our story. But right now we're just gonna kind of improvise everything on the spot and see where the chips fall after this conversation and then make a plan from there. So we're just running with whatever Olivia's saying.
I think he just watches because I don't think he can get close enough to hear without being seen. So I think he like...
Right, so this is where it would have been better to have specified where Kellen is because now there's confusion. And now Anna has overheard all of this conversation and after the fact is saying, I wasn't there to hear it, rather than establishing ahead of time whether or not she was there to hear it. That's fine. There are times where you want your players to be able to decide whether or not they heard something. Like, this is a situation where it's acceptable to have a player decide whether or not their character learned knowledge. But generally speaking, I try to avoid those situations. I would rather have my players have it be clear up front whether my players do or do not know what their character is hearing.
Easy way to come in and like sit in a shadowy corner. Maybe he does, but he doesn't try to get that close.
I think there's like they're next to the wall and there's a window and you could like get adjacent to the window on the outside so you can't see them, but you could like hear what they're saying through the window if you wanted.
He cares more about seeing them than hearing them.
Okay, cool. So you can keep your distance and see them from across the street, maybe.
Yeah, so he's just watching and trying to figure out like what the tone or type of their conversation is. What does it look like to him?
What do you think it looks like, Olivia?
I think it just seems like a serious heart-to-heart talk.
Cool.
And I don't know. I think Olivia's just being Olivia, so like when she feels like talking and like touching, she touches, but it's not like like a sick. It's like a normal Olivia touch, you know, standard.
So normal Olivia interaction with another guy.
You know, like in a conversation. I'm not a very touchy person, so it's tough to relate, but I see people like there's a moment where they like touch someone's leg or something and it's like, you know, the right
like, oh
timing.
no, not like that, or like
yes, that,
no,
or,
it's really okay.
or like, oh, I can totally relate to this as well.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, or like back pat or stuff like that. So I think she just gets all these cues when she's like touchy, but it's not like over the top either.
Cool. So, while this conversation's happening, Cass, you come down the street and spot Kellen, like, creeping across the street looking into this dive bar. Cass.
Oh, there we go.
So,
What is... No, sorry. What is...
now we go back to the town music. Ransom stayed behind. You said, you know, someone's coming after your father. You went to talk to your mom, and Ransom just sat in the bar by himself.
Okay, so I'm still sitting with my mom then.
No, she's headed off to Splash, and I think you were looking... our players don't remember what they did! You've now found Kellen in the streets.
Kellen, what are you doing right now?
He was about to find Olivia, and
Anna does a really awkward Kellen.
Liam is about to get arrested for something. He ran off, but apparently he's wanted for something. I don't even know this family. Like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, he seems like bad news.
Yes, and he's with our mother. Well,
Now, this is the second or third time in the last half hour that these players have said what's with this family, or like this family's bad news, that they have shown a dislike, not just for Ransom's father for sleeping with their mom, but like a dislike for Ransom's family in general. Both the elves are not big on it. It's an interesting feeling they have. There's probably things we can do with that down the line. It won't matter if Kess and Ransom break up, though, so it doesn't, you know, those feelings are things we can use down the line if Kess and Ransom stay together.
You muted yourself.
Wait, I did?
Oh, now you're unmuted.
Okay. He asked me to make him food. I'm sitting there having a real conversation with him, telling him how I feel.
Look at Ransom's
like,
face.
Maybe they have some utensils and you can make me a meal. Like, what?
Is there something wrong with him? Like, should we be concerned?
I am a little concerned.
Does he have like one of those brain worms or something? It's like,
maybe we need to get it out of him though. I think, you know, and I don't know this for sure, but it must be something about his dad, because his dad, it's something his dad might say. I mean, he might.
That is definitely a little meta, but I'm acceptable. I like it because, as I've said 1,000 times, I don't want Kess and Ransom to break up. So if she's gonna meta a little bit and be like, "Oh, that's his dad," I'm totally cool with that level of meta. Save the relationship. Don't break up.
Why would that make anybody happy? Oh, sure, you're pouring your heart out to me, but go make me a sandwich in the kitchen.
yeah,
Great.
I mean, I don't know, man.
I don't know what to do. What do I do, brother?
Well, I think whether his dad gets arrested or not is not our problem.
Yeah, I don't care. Liam's a garbage person.
Garbage person? Hey! He's a real person. Well, I mean, he's a real fictional person.
And it seems like he hasn't made Ransom any better by being around, so all the better.
As a matter of fact, he should be away from everyone. And away from our family. We don't associate.
I like setting up Liam as a troublemaker that has a bad influence on people. It's a good idea.
Honestly, if he's got something to answer for, let him answer for
Mom's
it.
apparently gonna go meet him, but you know
But
what?
how Is the party going to justify abandoning Ransom's father to the law without that destroying their relationship with Ransom?
She chose hers. We're not responsible for where her path leads her right now.
Okay, well, let's... I mean...
We came all this way to freaking rescue our mom and deliver the bad news of our dad's death, and here we are in this mess with her not relationship after she basically kicked us out for our very strong and beneficial relationships. It's like, maybe we're better off, you know?
Yeah, maybe we are.
And also, I never want to play that freaking song again.
Love
I
that.
don't want to play any of those songs again. I don't want to play with Mom again. That was awkward and uncomfortable. And we're better off on our own. We just should have just stayed on our own.
Look, I love her, but if she's fine doing her own thing, then...
Yeah, I agree.
This is great. I am really appreciating, even though this is not my intent, that they are over their mom and ready to let her do her own thing. Because with all the drama of meeting their mom and, you know, the dad dying and all that stuff, I was wondering to myself, how are we going to extract their mother from this situation so she's just not another NPC that follows them around all over the place? But if they get fed up with her and just like want to leave her be, that solves the problem of getting her written out of the story, which is great. So that's clearly what we're going to do now.
I don't want to leave Ransom behind, though.
Thank you, Cass.
Yeah, let's grab Olivia, because I just happened to walk over here looking for her.
Hi.
She and Guy were just hanging out. Wanted to chat, but like I needed her opinion on my outfit.
I don't know about Guy right now. Be careful, brother.
This is about the time that Olivia and Guy are finishing up their conversation and stepping out into the streets. And because we don't want to push Guy away, so we try and intervene by stopping her when she starts talking badly about Guy. And we bring Guy into the scene and Olivia into the scene. I think they spot you guys
we ended
across
up with
the
a
way.
shot together. We take a shot and we're like, to friendship! Yay!
Friendship! And then you guys step out, and before we get to the four of you, Ransom...
Is Guy attractive? Sorry.
I don't know, give me a D... We can skip ahead, that's not important. You were left behind at the
I guess
other
he's had
tavern.
a couple, a rough patch, you know, since yesterday.
Yeah. But Ransom, you're at the other tavern by yourself. Your dad went out the... Well, hold on, let's not pause, let's pause here. Olivia asked if Guy's attractive. She didn't roll very well. She rolled a 9. I think that's more evidence that Olivia is looking for a reason to like Guy. Maybe that's something we can set up for the future. Maybe Guy's like the only attractive, interesting person in the world who is not into Olivia, so we can maybe start like an Olivia has some sort of crush on Guy thing. We're gonna have to think of, and during our next planning episode where we plan misclicks, we're gonna have to find a way to attract Olivia to Guy. That's definitely gonna be something we're gonna do. The back door, your girlfriend went out the front door, and you see these people in uniform, led by this woman with a nice steel sword at her hip, walking around the bar, asking anyone if they've seen a... We mentioned steel because this is a bronze-based world where steel is like same price as silver or something, so it's expensive to get a steel sword. Liam, and start to describe him.
Hey, what is this Liam wanted for?
She turns to you.
Kind of from the bar. I'm just finishing up a drink, and I make the comment.
The woman walks over towards you. Because your accent, you're also from Mistrea, aren't you?
Ah, yes, I am.
Well then, good citizen, you should be referring to him as a citizen to help him, to kind of remind him of his civic duty to help things out, to help out the crown. help out the law enforcement of the town. On the lookout for the kingdom, or a traitor of our very people. Our people, again, trying to get his loyalties. He and his associates have knocked over one of the tax wagons. Wagons of the tax collectors. So awkward! Oh my god, I botched the description of these people pretty badly. And stolen a portrait of the king that was commissioned for him. We wouldn't have found out who this gentleman was, except he tried to sell it to a good citizen who reported him. Good citizen, referred to Trump as a citizen earlier, good citizen who reported him, you know, that sort of extra guilt. Of course, the person doesn't know that Ransom is Trump's child, but we're making the moral plea here that you have an obligation to turn this person in. That's why we're using these words, is we're trying to, you know, to show that Ransom has a duty and that it would be the right thing to do to turn this person in. It's not just some like random bounty hunters out for their dad. There's a good reason these people are here. You know, it's not just some nonsense.
That sounds ridiculous. Why would anyone want a portrait of the king?
Yeah.
Good job, Ransom.
Certainly not. Certainly not Dad. He's not even into art.
Dad?
I mean, certainly not Liam. He's not even into art.
She gives a nod to two of the other soldiers who come up, one on your left side, one on your right side. All right, so from here on, everything just devolves pretty badly. We get into a fight, and Rhonda comes out and stabs a person trying to free Ransom, and everybody gets arrested, right? The 7 living, well, not the 7, I think 3 of the guards get arrested, 2 of the guards get arrested, Ransom gets arrested, Rhonda gets arrested, the other guard, bounty hunter, I'm still not sure what to call them, ends up bleeding to death. And that's pretty much the end of this episode, which leaves us in a really awkward position. We had originally introduced these bounty hunter types to chase after Liam, Ransom's father, but the players get themselves mixed up in it a little sooner than we had liked. We were trying to set Liam in mortal danger. We were trying to, actually, what we were trying to do is show that, create a scene where Liam gets killed and then Ransom has like lost his father, and then Kess can come along and like help Ransom out and be like, oh, you just lost your father, here, let me be there for you, and use that as a bonding healing moment for the two of them. I don't know if we can still do that. And that, like, Liam dying, then in the dream people died, and octopus, right? It all works together really well. But we botched the dream sequence, which now botches all of these things that follow from it. And if Ransom's father dies, like with a sword through his gut, then it'll kind of work, and it might work with the dream sequence, but then we're gonna lose the, like, octopus and the 8 guard angle, and God, that botched dream sequence at the beginning, that one, like, it would have been 2 sentences. The sword turns into a tentacle and lifts Liam up. You see the great octopus from the last dream, and then everything wakes up, right? That would have been, that's what we needed. That was the core of that dream sequence, and we botched it, and now it's screwing everything up.
I've had a lot to drink, you know.
A likely story. Come on now. And she and the 2 of them start to walk outside with you while the remaining 8 minus 3 is 5. Roll the remaining 5. Start scouring the rest of the bar looking for Liam. They lead you outside, and none of your friends are around. You are completely alone in a foreign kingdom, being accosted by bounty hunters for your dad's crimes.
I try to struggle out of their arms while we're walking out.
Give me 2 strength checks. Your first is against the guy on the left, your second is against the guy on the right. Ooh. The left and right? So you break your left elbow out. Your right elbow is still caught by that guard, and as you struggle, I think a battle begins.
It does.
Is our battle meeting? Go. Why don't you roll me initiative by yourself?
I'm
Against
having
the three of these
flashback
people.
of Jeff's fighting off guards in the city and dying horribly.
See.
Don't be Jeff.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Okay, so they all go before you. The person who's already holding your elbow goes for a smack in your face, which is like a 12 to hit, but you're wearing armor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a glancing blow to no effect. The person who just broke free of you just tries to grab hold of you with a
So this
natural
is just
20. So
a
it comes
fight.
around like- we're trying here to have the guards arrest and contain Ransom, not kill him, so no one's drawing any weapons. We're kind of hoping Ransom might break free, or might beat them back, or maybe draw a weapon of his own or something, or I don't know. It's kind of a messy battle. We didn't really want things to come this way. We didn't want them to be chasing after Ransom, but he slipped up. Well, it was an intentional slip up, I guess, and called his father Dad in front of these bounty hunters. So now the bounty hunters are after him, and we don't really know what to do. This is not in our grand plan. These bounty hunters aren't from this kingdom. They don't have any authority in this kingdom. As far as the law of the land is concerned, these are just two separate groups of civilians having a fight. Neither one has any real right or wrong to anything. There's no, the bounty hunters don't have any jurisdiction here. They're just starting a street brawl. This isn't what we were looking for.
Goodness.
Oh, terrible. No, they hold you fast. Next round, D10 for initiative. Ooh, they roll really well. They roll way better than you. Let's just skip
You
ahead.
heard me, right? I am here under orders of Kelbel, you know?
Yeah, that's not gonna work. Anytime a character tries to lie about things to law enforcement, you have to take a look from the law enforcement side. You say, oh, I'm actually under orders of some great person. Like, yeah, where's your proof of that? I'm not gonna just take your word. I have suspicion that you are a thief, but you're telling me you're actually the agent of some great person. I have zero reason to believe that story unless you can provide some proof of it. So that's never gonna work.
I've done a lot of work for Kelbel.
Prove it. Right. You're insisting. They beat your chest.
In fact, I think I see her daughter right there.
It's actually Kelbel's niece. Ignoring everything you're saying about Kelbel. You're not the first person they've tried to arrest that's
Look, that's her
proclaiming
daughter.
to work for a noble or whatever. Niece. When Rhonda shows up and smacks somebody. Ooh, that's not a smack, that's a stab. She actually runs one of the people dragging you to the ground through with her sword. Why don't you roll me her damage, actually? Roll me a d8 plus 2.
Wow.
Yeah. Ooh. She runs through the person who helped drag you to the ground. He only had 4 hit points, so he just slumps over into a pile of body and blood on the ground. Swords start to get drawn, and this is about the time the party is coming down and sees the altercation, as well as when the local town guard shows up. They draw speed. The nice thing about 1-minute combat rounds is after 2 rounds of combat, that's been 2 minutes, which means people can enter the scene, right? If this were 5th edition or some other edition where we're using 6-second combat rounds, it wouldn't make any sense for the party to start a fight and then have guards show up partway through, or reinforcements of the party show up in 10 rounds is 1 minute, right? So if the party is more than 1 minute away by running, there's no way they'd ever catch up in a battle. So that's why one of the many reasons why I really like 1-minute rounds. Spears start to shout for the fight to end. Rhonda immediately steps down, and the other guards step down as well. The bounty hunters step down.
Guards, these people are kidnapping me.
The bounty hunters stop and back off, but Rhonda's left holding a bloody sword standing over the body of a person. Yeah, she just murdered somebody in the middle of a city. And Akuba doesn't get along with the rest of the world, and Miss Treya's pretty far away. Unless the party saves Rhonda, she's gonna die, which is kind of shitty. We could pull some bullshit and like, ooh, magic lore reason, like, oh, she's a noble, so they're gonna let her go, or she's a noble, so they're gonna exile her, or whatever. But if she doesn't stay with the party, she might as well be dead, right? There's no point in having Rhonda sit in jail. If the party leaves without her around, she might as well just be dead, and killing her off is a more dramatic moment. It means a lot more for their relationship with her and for their relationship with Kel Bell if they travel across the world with her, and then Rhonda gets executed for protecting Ransom in some random city on the other side of the world. Like, that's a big fucking deal. So if they don't get her out of jail, she's gonna die. And that's just how it's gonna be. As the Akuban guards take the four of them, the bounty hunter leader, one of her men, Ransom, and Rhonda into custody.
I run over to Ransom and I'm like, are you okay?
He's in custody.
That girl, she got a good foot in my stomach, but I'll be fine.
I kind of comfort him.
Town music comes back because the scene returns to normal. There are manacles being put on his wrists.
I thought you arrested the other guys.
The town guards came in, interrupted the battle, and now they're arresting everybody that was involved in it.
Oh,
Wait, is there any reason you're arresting the person?
Why are you arresting him? He obviously was attacked. He shouldn't be arrested for that.
Now this is one of those moments that I have trouble dealing with. When the players recognize their innocence, but do not recognize that people in authority might not recognize them as innocent right away. And also that the world does not have the same rule of law as the modern age. And even in the modern age, you know, the cops would separate everyone, ask some questions, figure it out. Back in, you know, in our medieval world where everything is pretty rough and tumble and life is cheap and that sort of thing, the guards are going to drag everybody to prison and figure it out. And the characters, I often feel, overreact to that sort of thing. They try and talk their way out of it, which is never going to work, and get really frustrated when it doesn't work. I've yet to figure out a way to play out a scene like this where there's a fight and everybody involved in the fight gets arrested. Just kind of blanketly arrest everybody and sort it out later without having the players protest and get really upset. I don't know how to solve that problem. They look at you like they don't understand what you're saying. In this situation, we can just pretend the guards, well, we don't have to pretend they're a Kuban, so they don't speak common. Easy peasy.
Meanwhile, I'm like, oh babe, I missed you so much, and I like start making out with Karen.
You guys!
I'm like, hold on. I go up to the policeman. I'm like, what are they charged with?
One of the guards comes over and really, Kellen shows some sense of, what do we call it? Reasonableness. And so we can have one of the guards speak the common tongue because Kellen's being reasonable, right? He's not just protesting and complaining. He's actually trying to have a dialogue and like get somewhere with this. He's being productive. So we'll let one of the guards speak a Kuban. Heavy accent say, and it also makes sense. You know, this is a big port town. Common is the language of the rest of the world. At least the leader of any unit of guards should speak common. Someone, at least a subset of the guards, should speak the common tongue. Fight in street, man dead. All responsible.
Not this guy. He was with us.
Ah, of course, the party wasn't actually here to see any of this start. So all the, like, he was with us sort of stuff is, or, you know, the party knowing that Ransom's innocent is all a bunch of meta bullcrap. We arrest you too then, yes?
No. You got this guy all wrong. This isn't the guy.
Well, we figure out. You, no worry. Go about day.
This is... No, you can't take him. He didn't do anything. He's an innocent bystander. We'll take him and you can take everyone else.
That's right. Just tell the police the person that is, was next to the dead guy, totally innocent. Don't worry about him. Just walk away. Leave him to us. Right, like that is ever gonna work.
Everything will be okay and we're leaving.
The guard takes 2 steps towards you and
I
stands
look at
like
him
imposing.
And I give him a look.
You say guards no arrest people they want?
No, I'm asking you, and I like kind of give him like a little rub on the shoulder, that this guy is with us and he's fine. You can have the rest. and we will
I see. You say he okay, so we just let him go. Of course. No. Let's go.
How about I give you something to make it worth your while?
Bribing the guards, eh? That might work.
Ooh.
Oh God.
Oh my God, not like that, you guys.
Clearly other people thought it was something else.
No, that's not what I meant either.
Okay.
That's just pauses. Eh?
I take out a gem without showing that I have more gems, and I'm like,
Cheap. So cheap. Your boyfriend is getting arrested and possibly dragged off to prison. So you're gonna be like, oh, maybe this small amount of money will help. If you want to like bribe an officer of the law, you gotta do something about it. You can't just be like, oh, whoops, here's one little gem. No, you wanna bribe the officer of the law so Ransom doesn't get arrested, pay up. Make a sizable sacrifice of your finances to solve the problem, right? Don't try and like minimally skirt the issue. There's a larger problem going on here. What we're seeing, this is like a microcosm of the party encounters a problem and they try to solve it as cheaply as possible. They try and be cheapskates about solving it. They try and be real penny pinchers, right? Which there are some times where you really want to be frugal with your money, but if you're going to try and like bribe somebody, you can't be cheap about it. It's not gonna work. Like, if you go to your high school teacher and you say, hey, I really want a better grade on this, here's $10. You're not gonna get anywhere. Maybe if you went to your high school teacher and like, hey, this test is super important. If I don't pass this test, I can't get into my next class. Here's an envelope with $5,000. Then the teacher might be like, whoa, this is something I'll listen to now. So Kess coming up and being like, there's a person that's being arrested for potentially murdering somebody, and he's an outsider, and would you let him go? Here's a little gem, is never gonna work. Party's being way too cheap about this. If she had like pulled off her entire money belt and be like, here, take this, or pulled out a handful of gems, or pulled out like a big handful of gold coins, or done something to like really show that this is something important to her, if she made a personal sacrifice in order to get Ransom out of here, it would probably work just fine. But she tries to solve the problem with the barest of effort, just like, here's a gem. So of course it's not gonna work. Another issue I have is I don't know how to tell them, my players, I don't know how to tell my players in-game that you need to bribe harder, right? We can have the guard say no. We don't want the guard to be like, oh, give me more money, because then the guard is like actively soliciting a bribe, and that's no good. So it's just a problem.
I kind of put it in his hand. How is this, Bastardo? How is this?
Takes the gem, looks it over. They're dead person. This is murder.
But he's...
Dead person, this is murder. He's not saying no, he's saying this is a serious situation, but the players are not picking up, or I should say, Kess is not picking up on the situation and offering up more cash. Had she offered up like 10 of her gems, yeah, that probably would have worked. You know, this is murder. This is serious. We need serious money.
Not, he didn't do anything
So
wrong.
say you. This is murder. No. And he proceeds to hand it back.
What else would you like?
Are you trying bribe? Most honorable. A Cuban guard. I'm trying to do it with a little bit of sarcasm. Oh, we're so honorable. Are you asking to bribe me? Like, he's not gonna say outright that he wants a bribe.
We just want to leave and be done. We've had a very rough week. Anything you can do would be really helpful. And I kind of like show him in my eyes and pleading with him, like, just want to leave. I'm sure you can understand a rough week.
We could let him go on bail, but he must still come back and stand trial for murder.
When
He
does
didn't.
Let go on bail is kind of, again, that's the best hint I could come up with. Or give me more money and we'll let him go on bail, right? That this is as far as I get with trying to solicit a bribe. He must go on, we can let him go on bail, but then he's gonna have to come back, meaning like you can take him, if you pay me enough, I'll let him go right now, but then you need to skip town, otherwise we're gonna arrest him again later for the trial. It doesn't work.
Didn't murder anybody. They attacked him. He was
Then
self-defense.
he come back and stand trial and everything okay. But if you want him go out on bail, is expensive bail.
Hold on, let me see what spells I got right now. 1 second.
Ooh, casting spells in the middle of a town with an altercation with guards. That's not gonna go well. They're gonna see you casting well ahead of the time, and the moment someone tries to like cast a spell at a guard in the middle of a city is when your entire party wipes.
Give me 1 second. Black, where are you? I cast ESP on him.
All right, so if you're gonna cast a spell in front of him, it's gonna be obvious you're casting a spell
really?
at him.
Okay.
Yeah. When you're standing like toe to toe to with this person, he's threatening to arrest your boyfriend and lock him away until he has to stand trial for a crime.
No, it's fine. I'm sure that the trial will find me innocent.
It probably will.
And Rhonda.
No, it won't.
Since they were trying to kidnap us.
He'll get off. She'll die. Do you have anything? Yes, you look like you're working. I think this is the end of our episode, but I don't really know. Oh, this loading is more than skipping. Well,
I looked up my spells, but I'm not doing anything.
it looks like everybody is letting Ransom get arrested.
No.
Letting, like,
It's 9 o'clock.
Well, there's gonna be a trial.
Yeah.
We'll make them forget, so I don't feel like it's gonna help the situation.
And starting with Kellen. All right, so that is the end of this episode. There's nothing else that goes on here. So, oh man, this episode was one of the. God, I'm very displeased with my performance in this, especially with the dream sequence. And then I don't really know what to do with Guy. And there's just like, I screw up Liam a little bit. I'm pretty unhappy with my performance throughout this entire session. But I'm very, very pleased with the players. They did a lot with their DM kind of half-assing it. I mean, not half-assing it, but just doing a poor job. So the players did phenomenally, as usual. Ransom has really come into his own. He's really been I'm sorry, Trump has really been coming into Ransom and really getting into character. I'm really impressed with that. Anna is, of course, on point with everything. She's been doing this a long time. She's got multiple shows. Same thing with Jen. She's been doing this for a long time, has had multiple shows. V has been surprisingly good, too. I've been very, very impressed with Miss Click's devotion. But that is it for our director's commentary. Next week, we're going to do another episode, probably. It might be Misclicks, it might be Frozen Frontier, it might be Shenanigans. I don't know. We're just going to see. And I hope I can make this like a weekly or almost weekly thing. So that's it for our director's commentary. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.